to see it and be able to.
Just the current status of the project?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
sure, yeah.
Yes.
So again, agenda item number 5 that we approved at the last meeting was for us to be able to get that update at this meeting. We should have received a written report on where we're currently at. You remember this project has been outstanding for about 5 years. It's just moving, and the goal of having it on the agenda was for us to be able to get a formal update in writing on where we're at. So the new council who wasn't here 5 years ago can know what we need to do. The mayor with the city engineer, they had a meeting that you were just describing, but as far as kind of where we've come to where we need to go, if you could put something together for us to get that to us so we can move forward.
Yeah, if you'll send it to me, then I'll circulate
Sure.
it. Circulate it. Any other questions for Mr. Houston on this? He's gonna send a report. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
The update on ADR, we signed the contract and just looking to move on for number 5, number 6. Oh, you got some on 5?
No, it says update on recently done. You're not gonna speak on it?
Agenda item number 5.
Oh, the fact that, Ms. Bynum, what are we doing? We're doing every 3 months, we're submitting updates
Yes,
to.
I
We just wanna keep
contacted
council informed
Franklin.
on that.
I contacted Franklin and we decided to, we're talking with them, do the ordinances every 3 months to send them in. And I've already prepared them to be sent in now. So they get sent off tomorrow. The ones that I have, I've kept a file of all the ordinances that we have.
Yes, Council.
Oh, so, kind of on the same hinge that Councilman Rowland was talking about. So I asked to put this in as an agenda item to ask about it. Now, it's on the agenda and it's under your name, but just out of respect, can you put my name next to it just because I inquired about it? Because I don't want it, even though you had an update on it, I don't want it to continue to be a precedent that you don't put our agenda items on there or take it off the agenda and not give us any type of correspondence. Oh, why?
No problem. Yeah, some of the things that Councilman asked has already been being done and that sort of thing, and it's just a matter of updating. Or as council said, if we're not clear on what you're asking, that it may not make it just because we're not clear.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Was my agenda item not clear when I put it in?
No, that was already handled. That's all.
No, I'm just saying because
Yeah.
you do that.
No problem. No, we'll definitely take a look at that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Item 6, update on ADR. We're looking to schedule the training. The contract's finally been signed. Council and ADR have been going back and forth. And Council, anything that you want to share with that after you're back and forth with ADR?
No, they finally got their attorney to take a look at it and kind of fix everything that I had issues with instead of just doing it on the ground and everything's fine.
So we're moving on, switching over to that program. Councilman Jones?
I would just like to commend Mr. King, Mr. Bostic,
Great
and
job.
USW for even bringing that recommendation. And Durham, thank you for helping council put on the town hall to be able to talk about that issue. And thank you, council, as far as finish it, and Mr. Mayor, on continue to work with can move our city forward.
Thank you, sir. Item 7, the complete count census at PV Avenue on item
ADR.
6. Sure, go ahead.
Do we know if we selected just the 30-cent, like, do we know, are we gonna get a copy of what we selected? Because there were some options. I just wanna make sure that we didn't get we didn't need all of the stuff. Remember, we had talked about just the 2 basic things. And so is there a way where we can either get a copy of the contract or something to be able to put before the mayor signs it, or what do you do? If I can get a copy, please.
Yes. Ms. Bynum, will you handle that to council? Okay. Item 7, the complete census count in working with the university. Ms. Alicia Lowe Scott is handling the team on campus, and we've been having meetings with the census people. And the most important thing about the census is to do everything we can to count everyone on and off campus within the 7.2 square miles of the city. because when we have situations like Hurricane Harvey and others, the funds that a city would receive are based on the census. Right now, in working with the census people the last 7, 8 months, in pointing out to them what our numbers are, where our folks are, we are grossly undercounted from the last census of 2010. So we're really working hard to help make sure that that doesn't happen again. And the two committees working together on and off the campus. And there's a lot of jobs that we're posting out, trying to make sure all of our residents on and off campus are aware that the census is paying some pretty good money for part-time flexible hours. So we've been pushing those things out as well, so that folks know. Yeah. No, I'm good there. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my question is, I guess you mentioned that you and the university have been meeting. I think it's important. I think we all understand the importance of the census. We've been having this conversation. But what you didn't communicate is what the actual plan is to be sure that everyone is counted. So is there an actual plan that's in place? Because we have to realize that we have a couple of different demographics that will go uncounted if we don't actually have a plan to go reach those folks that are, you know, in those areas. So is there an actual plan? If so, what is that plan?
The plan is, and I didn't bring that because we did put together a big communication plan and several activities to help get the word out, to get people out, and finalizing a committee in the city and selecting folks from various parts of the city, especially making sure we have folks who can, as you say, address a lot of our residents who may even be hesitant based on a variety of reasons, and even language barriers. So we're making sure we include folks who speak the languages as well to help make sure we go around. But I'll forward that to council, because we just got that back after a couple of meetings. Then it was sent back by the census people.
Would it be possible to have a town hall? That way, if there are people who may not be in a line of communication that may want to volunteer to assist, we can generate interest. And
Yes.
As well as students, just like you said, people who speak Spanish. I think if we have a town hall meeting and have maybe somebody from the Census Bureau come and talk about, you know, the benefits of assisting with the census and the funds that are available for the people who work the census, I think we could possibly generate interest like that.
Sure, no, it's a good point, and that's a part of, as you'll see with the plan, we even have the census people coming to city council meetings each month for the next several months, as you say, to help keep that word out there, keep it in front of everyone prior to the kickoff, and making sure that we do some things on and off campus to draw attention to it. They're talking about things like everything from flyers to T-shirts to robocalls, and really posting it out on social media where those events will be taking place and what have you. So, yes, sir.
I just want to say, I want to thank you for putting this on the agenda. I've been to a couple of workshops with the census, and I can't stress the importance of, especially a small city like Prairie View, trying to have as much participation in the census as possible. So I look forward to the plan, I look forward to the way that we can bring the community together and work together on this, because this census is only every 10 years. So it is time to get educated and do the best that we can to get the word out there. So I appreciate you putting this on the agenda.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Councilman Rowland.
Myself and Councilman Wallace went to the Texas Associated African Chamber of Black City Council members quarterly meeting in Houston this weekend. And one of the main things that the meeting talked about was was about the census. What the city of Houston and Harris County did is they partnered together. City of Dallas and Dallas County partnered together to count residents in their community. But one of the main things that we found that cities were doing is once they had a plan, they allocated resources to making sure that all segments of the community was counted. And so that email from the marketing, they actually have an office in the city of Houston, but also the company they use will be sending their strategic plan, and so we'll be able to share that with all the council and yourself, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. No, all the help that we need to get all of our people counted is what we wanna do.
When does it start?
April, so Census Day is April 1st, that's the first day when they'll be counting, and we want to have a kickoff event. And the census counting will go all the way from April 1st to July 1st. If you, in the first instance that you don't do your census by mail or online, that's when you'll have people come, who will be coming, you'll see people in the community who will be knocking on doors. That's when they'll come on the second, that kind of second phase, but it starts, kickoff is April 1st.
Just a point of information for those who are in attendance, that the people who work for the census get paid anywhere from $16 to $20 an hour.
Side hustle.
So if you're looking to make some extra money, that would be a
Yeah, absolutely. And then looking, the numbers they gave for our area were gonna be somewhere between 15 and 18 an hour, or an extra $3,000 for some very sparing work. Yeah, okay, thanks. Code enforcement report. Yes, sir.
Before we get to there, I move that we move items 13 through 18 up after item number 8, because those are interests of the community.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that items 13 through 18 be moved up after item 8. You've heard the motion, ready for question? All those in favor? Yes.
So we already have the code enforcement report here.
So we want to do all the community interest things and then come to reports from city council. So we'll move to 13 through 18 here and then come back.
That's what I was clarifying.
So we're not doing item 8?
He's trying to set it up, and then we asked to move items 13 through 18, which are interests of the community, after 8, which would be now.
Okay, so we'll jump on 8 now.
13, yes, sir.
Item 13, discuss and take action to approve a professional services agreement with Erskine Payne CPA to do the annual audit.
You didn't get a vote, just it's a motion to move on the agenda item, so we should get
Yeah, said all in favor? Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. Be clear. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Item 13, what's council's pleasure?
I move that we approve a professional service agreement with Erskine Payne CPA PLLC to do the annual audit.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that item 13, approve the professional services agreement with Erskine Payne CPA PLLC to do the annual audit. For the motion, ready for the question?
Question.
Yes.
The numbers are still the same, we just moved them to the other piece? To
Yeah.
Yes, I
to the
tied it
document.
into the professional services agreement with the letter as an attachment, so it doesn't change the terms, it's just added all of the things I like to see.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Item 14, discuss and take action on November 2019 and December 2019 reports from Mr. J.J. Johnson and Ms. Johnson, City Treasurer. Ms. Johnson and Mr. Johnson.
I mean, it's like, it's a signal there, this is on, and that's supposed to turn on to connect, but not turn on to connect.
Well, I'm here at y'all's pleasure. Y'all have the reports. Any question that you might have?
It says to search on.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm here at your pleasure. You all have the reports. You've had them since the last council meeting. And you got the reports for October and November. And we ran the checks through December. We just haven't completed December's report. But any questions that you might have?
No, I asked,
Councilman Brown.
questions for, our city bookkeeper or city treasurer?
Yes, can you talk to us about where, so we've been, we are going to be going through, different requests. We asked, when we first originally did the budget, we asked for some things to be put in contingent. And I think there's an agenda item where we'll be talking about some of those items. Can we, is there a place in this budget where I can see, what those items are that we put under contingent?
The contingency has, it was my understanding when I did the amendment 1, the contingency pertained to the police officers, is that the one you referenced?
Well, we had more than one contingent though.
It was the only contingency that we had was pertaining to the police officers. If you know the number, please let me know. But we have already moved that as far as in the budget itself, the dollars are sitting under the police budget right now.
I'll have you already moved it.
Because it was our understanding that you all had agreed to, when you got a police chief.
No, we said when we have a police chief, it has to come back to us.
Right, well,
and we vote.
the dollars, we just simply moved it from the contingency line under the general fund for publishing purposes over to the police department, but it's still contingency.
But Mr. JJ, that's not how our finance, so I want to be very clear, because you have, sometimes you remember some things and sometimes you have them, you don't. When we specifically said that we were gonna put the money in contingent,
And we did.
and when we got a chief, the chief was gonna come back to us with a plan, and the city council was gonna then move the money from contingent to the police department. So how did you,
It was, maybe I misunderstood you.
okay,
If you want me to, I can move the money back to the line item under general administration that says contingency. If you look at, the budget now, what I've done, I moved it to payroll, thinking that that y'all were going to, maybe I misunderstood you.
yes, sir.
But I can easily put it back under the line item called contingency.
Which budget are you looking at? Because the ones I have, I'm just trying to figure, so the last budget I have in front of me, most recent would be November. So how did you move, like what are you looking at versus what we're looking at? Do we all have a copy? The last budget we received was November.
Right.
So how did you know in November?
What I did, the way the budget works is by line item, okay? And I just simply moved the budget dollars from the contingency line item under general administration where we had put it, thinking that you all had approved, or that you were going to approve moving the dollars once you had a police chief. You got a police chief, and maybe I misunderstood you. Maybe I moved it prematurely.
I'm saying, and that could be correct.
Right.
No, it couldn't. Let me be clear.
Okay.
It can never be moved until they approve the ordinance, and that's why you had to draft that particular document you're talking about should be attached to the ordinance this evening.
You're right.
You can
And
never do it absent an
Correct.
ordinance.
Which is why I'm asking.
There's no
He's
problem.
looking at a document. I don't want to specifically talk about our agenda item. I am speaking to the documents that we received last meeting. And I am looking at the changes happening then. I don't remember when we got a chief, but that was last month, that wasn't in November. And so I'm trying to figure out, because it was also something
Well,
else
the
that we
thing
put in
is,
contingent.
a process, this was processed in December, after y'all got your sheet.
Mhm.
That's when these documents were prepared, okay? So it was, maybe I misunderstood, that's why I call it Amendment 1, okay? That the dollars could be moved.
Well, Mr. Johnson, let me help you.
Go ahead.
When council votes to put it in a category, it can't be moved until council votes with the amendment of your Amendment A to take it out of that category. So, yes.
Then it was my misunderstanding, I
So
thought
it
that.
was- No, it
Okay.
has to flow just from, like,
That's
the
no problem.
budget itself
Mhm.
has to come before council.
Then I
And
can-
it has-
I can-
Hold on,
Go
hold
ahead.
on. and it has to be approved for a reason. And any adjustments to that outside of the line items need to be approved. They specifically had that on agenda to go into contingency where it was supposed to stay until on agenda and they voted it out.
Okay.
We can't move.
Then it was my misunderstanding.
Okay, Councilman Randall?
Now, I can move it back.
No, you have to move it back.
No,
It's not an option.
for presentation break, if it wasn't supposed to be moved, then I just misrepresented the report. I can correct the report.
That's it.
Yes, sir. So, Judge, outside of the misunderstanding, my question is, I don't know what it is that you're looking at, but I didn't bring my report from last month. So my question is, where in this report, does it reflect, because the money, according to you, has already been moved, even though it wasn't supposed to be. So where in your report does it say that these funds were moved from contingency to the line item? Because whether this is a question for today or a question for next month, our finances are public record. So if somebody out there wants to pull up wants to open record request our numbers, they should be able to look at that report and say, oh, the city has moved X amount of dollars from here to here. And it shouldn't just be, oh, this section is $45,000 shorter than what it was, and there's no way I can just look at this report and see it. So my question is, where on that report?
You want a footnote statement?
It's so,
Okay, right now, the dollars, what you answer your question. Look at page 9, well, I'm gonna be on your November report. The dollars reside under salaries and wages for police, the 64,000.
okay.
That includes the officers in question.
So it includes, but
Right.
my question is, there's nothing that denotes the change, right? Where,
Well, it's simply an amount. Go ahead.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes, sir.
so when you have it here as actual 64,000, including
Well,
the,
excuse me, the budget is 111,000.
right,
Right.
but you have actual, does that mean that's what we spent?
Right, the actual is what you spent.
All right. In that actual, what is the breakdown of how many officers? Because this is what's going on. If we say we're supposed to have however many officers in this department, coming to us is, we're supposed to talk about some things later. We just want to talk about, based upon our November report, that this is accounting for the money that was moved, but also salaries and the new officers.
Right. The reason why you see a budget of 111,000 versus only an actual of 64 is the 111,000 is the full staff. That's why the amount is greater than what the actual is, because they're not full staff. Now, we can give you, we do have a payroll summary, so we can show you the officers that make up that 64,000 number.
Could we see that as well?
I-
For the next,
Yeah, right, we can bring you that, no problem.
so, JJ, maybe I'm slow, I don't have any problem admitting if I'm slow, but I'm not the finance guy. You just said that $64,000, that money was included in that $64,000, correct?
No, the $64,000 is the actual payroll of the current police staff.
So
Through
where's,
November.
so, and you saying the 45,000 is in the 111?
Yes.
I'm trying to figure
Well,
out
this is only 2 months of the total budget.
where on this does it say that we moved $45,000 from the contingency to
Well, you're not gonna physically see something that tells you that. I'm saying that it's included in the number there, the 111,000.
so that goes back to.
That will be reduced by the amount that makes up those officers. So this is only 2 months
So,
worth of budget.
so what I'm saying, it goes back to my original statement. I need to be able to look at this budget and know that $45,000 was moved from the contingency to the wages.
Well, when I restate it, you'll see it. that 111 will be decreased.
No, that's not what I'm asking, JJ. I'm saying.
Then I have to put a footnote.
There needs to be some kind of, something, that if a person from the community wants to look at our finances, they will know why the
Then
budget is
I'll put a
45,000.
footnote, I'll put a footnote to it, that's the change.
So there needs to be a footnote on the general fund page, and there needs to be a footnote on the public. There needs to be a footnote on the general fund page that says 45,000 moved from contingency to
Right.
general
It'll be
fund
on-
to.
It'll reference both of them.
Okay.
Hey, Mr. Johnson, my last thing, if we could have, I would love to see us back on the agenda so we could go through this, further. But any other changes, I know we're just talking about the police department, but there are other changes that occur. Could we also get those,
Right. The
those
only-
pertinent informations for, council's,
Now, I did put on here the change to public works, and y'all did vote on that,
when,
for USW.
Yeah, we did.
yes, for
Okay,
USW.
now that's on here,
Wait.
that's part of amendment 1.
But, so what page is, so let's go through public works, because I have a question.
Go ahead.
You brought it up, I was gonna wait till next week. Because Public Works, we approved so many people to be part-time and so many people to be full-time.
Mhm.
What is the way that an employee can move from part-time to full-time?
You'll have to prove that, automatically.
So do we,
I have
that's
no
correct,
control over that.
right. So if we pay somebody, we have budgeted full-time staff, part-time staff. If we're pay a person over the amount, so bring a person from part-time to full-time paid, with full-time benefits, is that a change that we should know of that, to amend the budget?
That's something that you all should discuss that with the mayor. Because I don't have anything to do with it.
No, I'm not asking you, so this is my question, this is why, this has nothing to do with talking to the mayor. My question is, if in our budget, the numbers you present to us say that we have so many full-time employees and so many part-time employees, when those numbers change, how do you communicate that?
I don't think he communicates that. I think that's.
But that's the point, he has to be, no, he receives,
No, if somebody's moved from full-time to part-time, that comes from the mayor to
Yeah.
him, correct?
Right.
no, because
I don't know that.
he doesn't, so I'm saying the mayor should have notified us on the change. But the person who catches it on, we're just talking about on the money, the finances, would be from Mr. Johnson. So I'm saying that if we're saying in Public Works, we supposed to have spent $2, and we come up spending $2.50, there's a net change of 50 cents that should be accounted for. And that will come from Mr. Johnson. Now, the mayor knows that he moved from a full-time and part-time employee to a full-time employee. I'm just asking on the
Then,
financials.
okay, from that standpoint, I will communicate back to the mayor that if,
Well, how do you, why, so is that's part of the process. So can you answer the question on why you would just communicate to the mayor?
that's
but-
where he's the person I communicate to.
But if it has, if it affects the city, if it affects the budget, it's supposed to come to council.
Okay,
No,
well,
it comes from council,
Go
to the mayor.
yeah, we would like for him to bring a report back, but his job is his
You
job.
report to the mayor.
So is there a report where you communicate this to the mayor?
Yes, because we see the payroll Sunday.
Mr. Mayor, do you have the report that Mr. Johnson's talking about in reference to the FTEs of employees in Public Works or any other department that council have not?
If Mr. Johnson communicated to me, I'm sure it's on my computer, but do I have it here now? No. Councilman Wallace.
Yeah, so item 14, just asked to discuss November 12th, 2019, December 2019 reports, but agenda item 15 said discuss and take action on setting a date for the budget workshop. So I think we can kind of go through all of the minute things at the budget workshop. So we should probably just go to 15, set that workshop date, and then talk about it more in depth at that time.
Just a point of information. What would help me and Ms. Johnson out is if we're communicating with, to, what specifically y'all wanna know. So if I would've known that you wanna talk about the numbers in the payroll, we could've brought that report with us.
That's why we said workshop.
Okay, well, I'm just saying.
Yes,
that-
sir.
But we got it.
Yes, sir.
We got that.
He's also brought up a really good point to be specific about the things you wanna discuss in the workshop, so.
Yes, that's why we say discuss to take action on the workshop, so that way we can gather.
Yeah, but he's doing the caveat, because we just say set a workshop, but we don't do our due diligence, and giving him the specifics.
Right.
He's just adding a caveat on there,
Just
because
set
it's
up-
literally happening right now, but we
Okay.
didn't give him specifics, so.
Okay, well, let's get into that since the discussion is gone there. Item 15, discuss and take action on setting date for budget workshop. Councilman Jones.
Alright, so, I intended for item number 15, for us to discuss the budget workshop, and then, we send, Mr. JJ, the items in which we would like for him to go over, then I know that, we would like to talk about our water billing process, which was a workshop that was, previously, council to plan for, even us talking about the last few items. Some council members have items about what we have spent our money in the past for street maintenance and all those kind of different things. And so, I would like for us to schedule a date first, and then come up with a date in which we have a deadline to send you what we would like to be in.
Does that help?
Ideas on date? Councilman?
I'm cool with whatever the body, would like to decide, so what's the time that works best for you guys?
Council suggestions?
How soon are we looking?
I think it would like to be before next council meeting.
Tenth.
We got time from, you got the rest of this week and next week,
So you mean,
before the 10th.
like next Monday, same time, at 6? But I wanna, because I know,
February 3rd?
yeah, but it depends, is that time fitting for y'all if we did it at 6? I'm fine with February 3rd.
Thank you.
Ms. Williams, you cool with it?
What date now?
All right,
February
February
Next
3rd.
Monday.
All right, and then I would
Then,
add,
then you got this look on his face.
Yeah,
Is that enough time for you to put together?
Well,
Well, you don't even know
I
what
wouldn't
they
know
want yet.
what you want.
so
I like it pretty well, I have it, y'all.
I would like to work, it's always better to work backwards, so now that we have a date,
Now, can you,
yes, we're
could
gonna
y'all
come up with
move
a
it
date. Yes.
further than the 3rd?
All right, so Mr. J, what date works best for you?
Something other than Monday, further in the week, because see, we have a hell of a deadline to meet for the 31st. And so it's hard to do any work to prepare for Monday.
What about the 4th, Tuesday?
No, not good for me.
Wednesday?
Actually, no,
Wednesday?
Tuesday.
I'm saying Wednesday.
You can do Wednesday.
Okay.
You can do
Wednesday's better for
All right,
us.
Wednesday at 6 o'clock,
I
all right,
won't be here.
that's okay, you can say. All right, the 6, you got,
Thursday?
This is February.
you good Thursday? You can do Thursday? All right, you can do Thursday, my brother?